2 points of order before we begin questioning. One, a failure on my part that Bill Johnson was kind enough to point out. I did not tell you where to look for your time. This young lady right here has a yellow card, and she will note that when that is 30 seconds, correct? Okay. 90 seconds? 30 seconds left, correct. Okay. And then a red card when you're out of time, and I will graciously wait until you finish your thought before interrupting you, and hopefully we will not come to that point. Also, I should note that all gubernatorial candidates were invited tonight. Some had conflicts of interest. Some accepted the invitation. One of note, Bradley Byrne, was unable to attend, and he noted that this past Friday he had agreed to be here but was unable to attend, some sort of conflict. So with that, all candidates were invited to attend, and we appreciate the three that are attending tonight. With that, we will begin with question number 1, and it deals with decision-making as governor, and we'll begin with Dr. Robert Bentley. What will your decision-making process be if elected governor? For example, would you vote solely based on your conscience, even if it means going against the will of your constituents? Would you vote strictly according to what your constituents want? On the other hand, in your view, what is the correct balance in this arena? What factors would you use in considering making serious determinations as governor of the state of Alabama? What role would God and religion play in this regard?
I've been a legislator now for 7.5 years. I generally vote my conscience. There are times when I have voted probably against my constituency, but not many times. I try the best I can to balance those two. Now, you're asking me as a governor, that's a little bit different than a legislator. As a legislator, you are elected by a certain group of people, a certain number of people, and you do the best you can to represent that constituency. Sometimes, but you still have to vote your conscience, and I will always vote my conscience. If it's an issue that deals with what I think is religious in nature, I'm going to always vote according to what I believe as far as my Christian beliefs are concerned. I will continue to do that. As governor, I'm going to do that. Now, as far as the governance as a governor, I believe that a governor should be a macro manager, not a micromanager. I want to be a Ronald Reagan, not a Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter was the worst president we've had this century. Ronald Reagan, I think, was the best president we've had this century. And so I want to find the best people possible to serve in my cabinet to carry out the issues that I would like to see carried out. I have a lot of goals for this state, and I'm sure as we go through the questions, you will hear many of those talked about. I have a lot of things that I would like to accomplish, and we need to make our state better. So you put the best people you can possibly find in those positions, let them carry those things out. That's the way I'm going to govern as the governor of the state of Alabama.
Bill Johnson.
I have a core set of very conservative beliefs and a fundamental Christian faith that I would never deviate from in decision making. Having said that, though, I want to, and y'all will probably recognize this, that there's all sorts of decisions that a governor is required to make or elected officials are required to make that aren't necessarily black or white or, by Christian values or conservative values. They're just problems that we all have to deal with. And typically, the way that I resolve those or come to a decision making make decisions on those is by engaging people who have relevant knowledge and basically bring them together to form an advisory board to make recommendations within a sort of broad parameters. Y'all have seen that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Where you get the lifeline, ask the audience a question and how the audience is almost always right. That is how I have conducted myself in the 10 years in elected and in appointed office whenever I had to deal with very difficult situations. I'll give you a great example is I started a faith-based prison reentry program. The downside for doing a program that was working with 11,000 felons coming out of prison was one of them might mess up, right? So I pulled the best folks from across the state together that were working on this issue and said, y'all put the program together, make the advice of how we need to conduct it. Had another complicated bit of legislation dealing with overgrown, vacant, abandoned lots, a sort of an unglamorous, you know, nonpartisan just problem we're all having to solve. How do we get there? My parameter was I didn't want to have eminent domain or accelerated eminent domain to deal with this. I pulled a group together, and what we came up with was a qualified tax amnesty program, which everybody agreed with. So my decision-making process on it is stick with my core beliefs, but the bottom line is you can't know everything about everything. Get the smartest people in the room on an issue together and listen to what they tell you.
I think the first thing that guides me is a document that I pledge an oath to. It's called the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Alabama. That's where it all starts. I believe in limited government. I believe that government is out of control. I believe that the federal government is overreaching. And once you attack this thing from that point of view, it changes your view on what government can do. Of course, we understand that you want to get the best and the most talented people. It's a scriptural thing. You know, you want wise counsel in everything that you do. And of course, I think everyone up here, your conscience will guide you. But I've found as I travel across Alabama, I think I know the people of Alabama quite well. And I cannot think of one issue where I think my core principles are different or separate than the masses of the people of this state. We are a great state. We're a conservative state. And we have minor differences, but they're not great ones. And in government, it's much about managing public money. And we always should ask one basic question when making any decision. And the question is it in our people's interest? If it is, you do it. If it's not, you don't. It's truly that simple. Talent is very important, and we will look across this state to bring the best folks that we can find into the fold and manage public money as if it were our own. Thank you so much.